Okay, guys. Hello. Hopefully everything's going okay for you guys today. Hopefully you're having a blessed day. What we're looking at in this lesson is we're talking about the idea of solving quadratic equations by square roots. And the last lesson we talked about solving by factoring. Well, not everything is factorable. So there are different other methods for me to solve it. In this lesson, we're going to use algebra to find the solutions to quadratic equations instead of tables and graphs. These solutions are called the zeros of the function. So we are trying to identify what the zeros are right here and here. Some equations can be solved by the use of the fact that for any positive number n, the equation x squared equals n is satisfied by two values, the square root of n and the square root of negative n. So if I were to look here and I were to ask you guys, hey, this is x squared equals 9. Well, if I look here, do you see how we have two solutions to that problem? Okay. So I could say x squared equals 9, and x would be plus or minus 3. So let's look at an example. So whenever I think about this, guys, I'm thinking about the idea that I want to try to get whatever is possible, whatever is being squared by itself. And that I'll have two answers. And I'm going to put a plus or minus in front of whatever the answer is. So when I look here, I have the n squared by itself. Step 1 is done. Step 2 is to get rid of the square, so I'm going to square root both sides. And I get n equals the square root of 21. Well, there's two things that can get me at plus or minus square root of negative 21. If I were to square root of 21, I would get 21. And if I were to square the negative square root of 21, I would get 21 too. So that's why that checks out. Now for this one, we have whatever's being squared by itself, so I'm going to square root both sides. And I get v and the square root of 73. And it would be plus or minus square root of 73. Let's get a couple other ones. I want to get whatever's being squared by itself, so I'm going to add 4 to both sides. So I get a squared equals 9, and then I'm going to square root both sides. And I get a to be 3, but it's going to be plus or minus 3. Because if I were to look at this, if I were to do 3 squared minus 4, that's 9 minus 4, which is 5. And if I were to do negative 3 squared minus 4, it would also equal 5. So I got 9 minus 4 equals 5, so that checks out. Okay. So in this case, I want to get whatever's being squared by itself, which is p squared, so I'm going to divide both sides by 10. And I get p squared equals 22. And I'm going to square root both sides, and I'm going to get p to equal plus or minus square root of 22. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is, can you try the next few questions for me? And in the next video, I do have answers to those. Thanks, guys.